Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to season one, episode two of the Crowd of Maine Wrestling podcast. Thank you very much for joining us here. The first episode we had was a special guest. We had Wyatt Holiday, and now we are fortunate enough to go ahead and be joined by the Crown of Maine Wrestling Champion, Mr. Lucha Kid. Lucha Kid, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here today, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, there's a lot of things that have been going on since the last podcast that we had. I got Wyatt Holiday. He didn't mention you at the time. There was a lot going on between you and him. And at the last show that we had, actually down at Mars Hill, which is the Hardcore Havoc Tournament 2, you two had an opportunity to face each other, not for the first time, but for the second time, as we had a limestone tournament last year where you folks, you two faced each other. Now, when it comes to Wyatt Holiday, sir, what are your thoughts on Wyatt Holiday? Is he he's a champion right now, but is he a top contender? And what are your thoughts on working with such a talent?
He is a top contender. Do I like admitting it? No, not really. I don't. Things he says, I don't like it. I don't agree with him with half the thing he says. But he is top tier. He's up there. And working with him, it was great. Even though he's very his technique very just himself.
Is his
So
technique a little aggressive? Is it non traditional? Like, what would you say about his technique?
it's different. It's aggressive. So it's harder to get in there, do your thing, because he just cuts you off most of the time. But he is top tier.
And that's a lot coming from a champion such as yourself, sir. As Wyatt Holiday, we know is also a champion, and we've seen both champions go toe to toe at the last event at the Hardcore Havoc Tournament 2 in Mars Hill. But something happened, sir, at in that match that kind of tilted things into the favor of the Purge, into the favor of Wyatt Holiday. Can you speak on what happened? Could you maybe express what happened to you for folks who were not there?
What happened to me is I was hit with a chair once again by DL Santos, which cost me my match again.
What is the situation between Dio Santos and yourself? What is the connection? What is the history between you two?
Uh, I couldn't really tell you. I think it's just because he's not happy because he saw me doing what he was doing. He was he was doing great things back then. I watched him back when they were wrestling in the mall. He was my idol. I grew up watching him. So I may have stole little things here and there, and I guess it just made him mad, and he did what he did.
You say in your promos on the Chronome Wrestling website, on the Facebook channels, on the Facebook page, that you have watched Dio Santos, that you have admired his work, and now you're saying that you might have stolen some of his repertoire. Uh, do you think that he does have a reason to be upset over what you're doing, or do you think that, like you said, he may be jealous that you might have now? And for the folks listening in, Lucha Kid is the youngest, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Lucha, the youngest Crown of Maine Wrestling champion that we've had up here in the state of Maine. Is it that he's upset you've stolen some of his work, or is he just jealous that you have done more in this company that he's probably ever done at any promotion up here in the state of Maine?
I feel like it'd be a little bit of both. I feel like he's jealous because I'm doing more and better than what he's done, and I do feel like he does have a reason to be mad because I took some of his moves, but I feel like moves should be passed down. He did his moves back then, and I'm taking it and moving them up into the present year.
So, and again, going back to what you're saying that you may be new to this business, what have you learned along the way? I mean, again, being the youngest Chronoman Wrestling champion, and I know you've made some appearances downstate in the state of Maine, with other promotions. What have you learned in your short time in this business?
I've learned a lot, mostly from locker room leaders going from Eric Johnson to JP O'Reilly. They've taught me they've taught me a lot. They taught me about locker room etiquette. One thing. They've taught me about that. They've taught me a lot of moves in the ring. Alan Prophet, he's taught me a lot. Uh, hence, yeah, he's they all of them combined have taught me a lot coming up, which is why what I'm doing right now may not be like it's my moves, everything I do, it good because they all came from them.
You mentioned Alan Prophet. Now, Alan Prophet was in the Hardcore Havoc Tournament 2 in Mars Hill. There was a situation there where you watched this match, you extended your hand to Alan Prophet, and he just disregarded you and walked right past you. What was that all about? And what do you have to say about the situation when it comes to Alan Prophet?
Alan Prophet. I was just trying to scope things out, scope out new people, and he just happened to be one of them. And so I wanted to earn his respect, go out, watch his match, and I lent my hand out to him after he won and disregarded. Ah, I don't know, man. Alan, I don't know.
Now, when it comes to the state of Maine wrestling, and we see someone like Alan Prophet, and we see the work of Lucha Kid, it's hard not to compare you two, right? It's hard not to say, hey, it looks like these two would be able to perform and have a good competitive match. And us up here in Northern Maine for Crown Maine Wrestling, we see Lucha Kid, we see all the work that you're doing, and then we see downstate at Alan Prophet, and then we finally get you two in the same building, and he won't even extend the respect or the notoriety of what you're doing up here, and he just walks away from you. Like, how do you take that? Do you take that as an insult? Do you take that as a, okay, maybe I have to earn my way? But keep in mind, you are the Crown Wrestling champion. And when it comes to earning your position, earning your spot, earning your respect, sir, you are a champion. So for someone like Alan Prophet, again, who has not held, as far as I'm aware, has not held a championship title, to disregard you, to walk past you as if you're nothing. I mean, if it was me, I would take offense to that. Like, did you not take offense to that? Like, what is your next step? Like, are you have you reached out to Alan Prophet personally, privately? Have you, like, what's the next step between you and Alan Prophet? Is there some real hatred between Alan Prophet and yourself? Have you reached out to him? Like, what is going on there?
So Alan Prophet, he's going back to me lending my hand out to him. I just feel like I have to earn that a little more. I mean, I've done my research. Alan's been wrestling for I believe it was 10 plus years now. I've only been wrestling for one and a half. So I feel like in order to get a handshake from such a top talent, I have to earn my way, not just by earning a title or getting that title, but keep going up, up, and up, and earn the respect of the bigger guys. And as for reaching out to Alan, I did reach out to Alan. All good. There's no hatred, but going back to that, I do feel like I have to earn that handshake just a little more.
You might be in a tough situation where you're a young guy, right? You're a young guy in the business. You haven't been in the business very long. You are holding the top title for the Crown of Maine Wrestling promotion up here in Northern Maine. You have Dio Santos, a veteran, 14 years plus. You have Alan Prophet, 10 years in the business. What do you think it is about these guys that have been in the business for so long, and they're just not. It seems like they're just not giving you the respect that you. I mean, you ultimately deserve. Again, you are the Crown of Maine Wrestling Champion. You're not just a guy on the card on the roster that's just working. You hold the top and the most prestigious title for Crown of Maine Wrestling. What do you think it is about Dio Santos? What do you think it is about Alan Prophet that they're looking at you and refuse to shake your hand, refuse to look you in the eye, and give you the respect that you deserve?
Um, going back to that once again, they're veterans. They've been in this business a very long time, and I do have a title, so I should at least get a handshake, get the respect. I mean, I should get all that. But like I've said, I've only been wrestling maybe 1.5 years, and they've been wrestling 10 plus. So I could see why they look down at me as just a guy on the card. I could see why they don't give me that handshake. I have to earn that. I have to keep going up, not just winning a title, but by defending my title against bigger guys, such as like Eric Johnson, such as Lee Miller, all those guys. So I feel like they just I just need to earn their respect a little more.
When you say you have to earn the respect, are you stating that you need to be able to have matches with more people who have been established in the business in order for others to take you more serious?
Yes, sir.
I can see how that could be a strategy. And listen, I'm a huge Lucha Kid fan. One thing changed since the last show. Again, Mars Hill, the Hardcore Havoc 2 tournament. You, sir, um, and this may be a sensitive subject, but you your mask was taken. Your mask was taken in a match between White Holiday and yourself with Steve Archer on the outside. And okay, you're taking on a purge, but it wasn't the purge that changed things. It was Dio Santos who hit you with a chair that gave White Holiday the advantage to put you through the door, win the match, but it wasn't over. Your mask was taken. Now for the fans out there, for everyone watching, this is a big change here now. You do not have a mask. You do not have the privilege to be comfortable behind a match. Are we going to be expecting a change? Are we going to be expecting a more resilient, more aggressive, or more strategic Lucha Kid without the mask? We haven't seen you without the mask. We did see a promo on the Crowd Wrestling Facebook page. The first time we've seen your face, you got the look, you got the aggression in that promo. But when it comes to in ring ability, in ring presence, without the mask, are you going to be able to compete at a high level?
Yeah, I did lose the mask, and going forward, I won't be having the mask because you lose it, can't put it back on. It's a respect thing. As far as in-ring ability, without a mask, I feel like I could still do the matches I do, still do everything I do. The mask, I hate to say it, it's just a mask, uh, but without it, I feel like I could do just as good. The only thing I'm losing is the look, the tradition.
The tradition, and that was all due to Dio Santos. Then I know that Hyperpotent came in and try to kind of help along and get Santos and to get the purge away from you and try to prevent that situation. What is your relationship with the purge? I'm sorry, with the not the purge, but the Hyperpotent. What is your relationship with Hyperpotent?
Hyper Putin, I've with Jacques, I've never like had a relationship with him. It all started with Ray C. Back in March of 2022, I do believe 2022, 2023. I beat Ray C for the Crown Main Heavyweight Championship, and when I beat him, I earned his respect. And as you can see at the end of the match, Jacques did pull me in, and we talked about some stuff. And so that night, I did earn Ray C's respect. I earned Jacques Louis France's respect. So them together, I just earned both their respect and their allowing me in.
I'll be honest, as the fan has been watching this happening, it's pretty amazing to see Hyper puts in the tag team that's in the Crown of Wrestling support and back you up. The Purge seems to be gaining more strength. It seems to be getting more momentum, and you just happen to be in the midst of that because again, you were up against Wyatt Holiday, the Aroostook County champion. And we come to when we talk about champions, we got you again, top dog, and it doesn't matter if you've been in the business a year, 2 years, or less. You are the man when it comes to Crown of Wrestling. Now, is there any words that you have for anyone that is willing to take you on for your Crown of Wrestling Heavyweight Championship title?
For anyone that wants to come at my title, it's open. You just call your shot, and we can do it.
What if that call is answered by the hardcore champion of Crown of Wrestling, JP O'Reilly?
Oh, put me in a tough spot there. Ah, if it's for my title, I'm gonna have to call off the hardcore stipulation. Even though JP O'Reilly is the hardcore maniac, he is the guy. I'm gonna have to call off that hardcore stipulation. Hardcore is just not what I do, not my thing. If he's coming at my title, we're gonna do it my way.
If it was a a exhibition match, if it was a normal match, title for title, you versus JP O'Reilly, how do you
That
think who do you think would win that match?
ooh, um, I would say I got the speed on JP. JP has experience, so I would hope I would come out on top,
Well,
just because I
we're getting rid of the weapons, right? Because we all know that JP is the hardcore champion. He's really well known for hardcore. He's a huge fan of deathmatch. Take that all away. Put him in a one-on-one match with the Crown of Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Lucha Kid. Regular up front match. Do you think you got it?
I think I could get it. Would it be by a long shot? Maybe not, but I think I could get it.
I'm a huge fan of JP O'Reilly, but that only comes at the expense of a hardcore match. Anything that has to do with a regular match, Lucha Kid, huge fan. Like I said, I'm going Lucha Kid 100% over JP O'Reilly. If it was title for title, then we're looking at the Crown of Wrestling champion and new hardcore champion Lucha Kid. Now, what's next for Lucha Kid? Again, no mask. We got a show coming up in November next month in Van Buren. Not sure what's going on there, but again, my biggest thing is that you don't have a mask to hide behind anymore. Was the mask something to hide behind, or was the mask tradition, or was the mask something to make you feel more comfortable to doing what you're doing? Because now your face is out in the front, and now we all know without the mask, it is just you. Things could change. The fans can turn against you. How do you think coming up into the November show in Van Buren? What is your mindset at? We don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know who's going to be challenging you for anything. But going into November in Van Buren, Maine, where's the mindset of Lucha Kid?
Uh, Going into November, I feel like I feel like the fans are gonna stay. The fans have been loyal to me since day one in November. They've always cheered for me. They've always liked me. So I don't think the mask should just change anything. Um, the mask the mask was a tradition. Like when I was younger, watching DL Santos, he had a mask, and I wanted to carry it on. So I got the mask when I came in, and I've kept it ever since. It was a tradition thing. It was comfortable. It was a comfortable thing. Perform better. So I think without the mask, I should be fine. But as far as Van Buren goes, I think I should be fine.
Have you tried to reach out to Dio Santos to have a man to man conversation about what's been going on?
I have not, but I now that I think of it, I probably should. Do I want to after everything he's done? No, but I do think it'd be the right thing to do. Have a man-to-man conversation and just get everything expressed. So why it happened, why he did it.
Well, it seems like next month in November in Van Buren, Maine. I'm not too exactly sure on the date, but in Van Buren, which is again November next month, we are on the 14th of this month. We're just about done with October, and November is around the corner. So maybe it looks like both you and Dio Santos are going to be in the same building. So maybe that may be something you folk maybe you could reach out, try to figure out what's going on because I've seen Dio Santos involved in the show Uncarable. Well, at first he did seem to help you out against Aries, but then he hit you in the back with a chair and took you down, and then put your head in a chair and try to decapitate you, which was prevented by the amazing referees for Crown of Man Wrestling. Then at Mars Hill at the Hardcore Havoc show, interfered again, threw a chair like a torpedo, hit you in the back of the head, cost you the match against Wyatt Holiday to advance into the tournament. And then took your mask. So I'm hoping that this month, next month in November, you two are in the same building. And hopefully you guys can be able to talk this out because one of the things that I would love to see is to be able to see Dio Santos, a brand new Dio Santos, with a brand new Lucha Kid. Work this out. Get together. Because right now, one of the biggest problems that Crown of Main Wrestling has is the Purge. And it seems like the Purge is being forgotten and overlooked. But they run the show at this time. Yes, this crowd, the Hyper puts in are there and trying to get ownership back of the company. But someone like yourself, someone like Dio Santos, if you two were to work together, I feel like you guys could be able to go ahead and stop the Purge from doing what they're doing. And I'm just hoping that this show coming up that you and Santos could have a conversation and be able to straighten this out. What do you think of that? You think it's possible?
Next month, that could be a possibility. Me and Santos could work something out, and if we did and we became a tag team, all I gotta say is watch out.
A new and improved Lucha Kid, no mask. You get Lucha Kid 100% raw dog and Dio Santos on the same team. I feel like that would be I think that they would be able to be the ones to stop the Purge. So we talk about Hyper puts in. And I know you had the match between Wyatt Holiday and yourself. And then last year, around the same time, you had a match between Wyatt Holiday and yourself. What is this like beef between yourself and Wyatt Holiday?
Meanwhile, when I debuted, he was the one who eliminated me from the Battle Royal in Limestone, and I took offense to that because he put me in his submission leg lock, whatever you want to call it, and he decided he wanted to cut a promo and talk about how he made me submit in front of my mom, and which he did, and so I didn't. It didn't set well with me, so I called him out for Limestone. Limestone, I got cost the match by Steve Archer. And so, fast forward to Marcel, I wanted to finally get my revenge on Wyatt Holiday from costing me the match in Limestone once again. But this time I get interrupted by DL Santos, like we just talked about. So between me and Wyatt Holiday, it's ongoing thing, and it just keeps going.
I'll be honest, Lucha. It sounds like you have, as a champion, as the youngest champion for Crown of Man Wrestling, it does sound like you do have your hands full. On one side, you have Dio Santos. On the other side, you have the Purge and Wyatt Holiday. How how are you going to make it through? How are you going to be able to protect that Crown of Man Wrestling Championship title while it seems like you're being attacked from every end that you can think of?
I certainly do have my hands full, but I think I can get through with Hyper Butune by my side. I believe I can outwork the Purge. I believe I can outwork DL Santos if we don't talk something out. So I do believe I should be fine, and my title should be protected.
All right. So again, I'm a huge fan of what Lucha Kid is doing. Now without the mask, I've never seen it, so I'm looking forward to the show in November in Van Buren, where Lucha Kid shows himself for the first time, no mask, and seeing what he's gonna have to put up with at that time. Between Dio Santos and the Purge with Wyatt Holiday, it sounds like Lucha Kid has a lot on his plate. Is he going to be able to hold on to that title? Who knows? And Alan Prophet, on top of it all, Lucha Kid, you got your hands full as the champion. But then again, we understand that being a champion, you get a target on your back, and there's many people from many different sides that are going to be coming for you. You seem to be holding yourself pretty well, my friend. I'll be honest, for somebody who's new to the business, performing as you are performing. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of your backflip during your entrance. That's a little tidbit between you and I. But listen, I look forward to seeing your show in November in Van Buren. I look forward to seeing what your match is going to be like. I'm looking forward to seeing Lucha Kid without a mask for the first time. So, folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to follow Crowname Wrestling on YouTube, also on Facebook. I'm your host, SHOCK. You can call me Shock. And Lucha Kid, I want to thank you very much for joining us. And I can't wait to see you in November, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Stay tuned for episode 3.